first started, I knew no one successful in real estate. I only knew you have to market, right?
What's your process for discovering how you can add value to people?
I have all this relational capital because I have really good relationships.
It's just not the most scalable way to do it.
I just know a lot of people have a lot of limiting beliefs.
You know, because relationship development is not a super scalable thing.
I'm all the way about relationships, 100%.
What's up, everybody? Grant Wise here. Welcome back to the Partner Profit Podcast. Excited for my conversation today with Martine Richardson. We're going to show you how to turn your relationships into revenue. Hey, Martine, how are you today?
I am doing great. I am happy to talk to your people. You know, I'm very high energy, so I'm excited. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Before we dive in, for all the people listening that maybe don't know much about you, why don't you give us a little bit of your backstory? How'd you get to where you are today?
I am a real estate investor, and I also coach people on how to buy their first rental property using little to none of their own money. And I've gotten to that point because I've closed on over 100 plus deals using little to none of my own money. But when I started, it was like an unfortunate circumstance that turned out really, really well. I worked at a job. I know a lot of people listening, you work at a job. And I had gotten my degree. I had done everything right. I thought that this was going to be like my American dream. You know, I get this job, I'm going to love it. But something was missing. Like, I don't know if people have felt like this before, but you just feel unfulfilled. You're not passionate about the work. So that showed in me working the job, and I ended up getting fired. But while I was there, I laugh at it because it was the biggest blessing for me. I don't think I ever would have gotten in real estate. I just would have had an unfulfilled life. Like, I would have stayed. I don't think I would have taken the jump. So I was working at this job. I had read about how to get in real estate, in wholesaling, and I knew what to do, but I just wasn't doing it because I was comfortable. And then that job I had gotten a car when I was working there. That car ended up getting repossessed. And when that car got repossessed, I took real estate seriously the next day. Because I like to follow different people. And one person I really, really like is a Jan Levanzant. And she talked about there's nowhere to fall when you're on the floor. Like, I was on the floor. So I'm like, well, what do I have to lose? And then I jumped into it. But even when I jumped into it, I wasn't good at it. I was bad. I was just failing my way forward. I just didn't quit. It took me 2 years to get a deal. 2 years. Now, I've been doing this for 12 years now, but I had to go through some bumps and bruises to get to where I am today. So that's why I'm coaching folks so they can learn from my mistakes. You don't have to go through as many bumps and bruises as I did so that you can build your rental portfolio.
That is an awesome story. I'm sure maybe it is not a fun one, to live through, but I only know that because I have a similar story. It's not with jobs. It was always with businesses for me. I had a couple of businesses that went down, cars repossessed, all of the stuff. Yeah. And so I've definitely lived it. I know it's not fun in the moment, but you certainly grow an appreciation for that. I think I had a coach one time, and he taught me what the duality was, right? And it was when I first started working with him, he was like, okay, I want you to go and I want you to make a list of every bad thing that's ever happened to you in your life. And I came back with like a book, okay, I got all my bad things.
Here's my encyclopedia.
Yeah. And he was like, okay, you know what bad thing happened? Now I want you to write what good came from it. And that was an exercise. And you grow to realize that, at least I did, is that all of the best things that have ever happened in your life came from all of the worst things that you thought ever came from your life. So it's a fascinating way to look at it. And
you bring up a good point because I'm a landlord now, but before, when I first started being a landlord, I was really bad at it. If your money was green, you could move into my place. Terrible philosophy. Always in eviction court. But it taught me what I needed to do so I could avoid it. Or if I had to go to eviction court, I know how to get the people out because I was there so much.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing. When I say, Martine, how do I turn my relationships into revenue? What comes to mind for you?
Oh, I love this. I built this whole business on relationships. I don't market. I don't do cold touches to get business. Everything that I do is from relationships. So I get deals because people know me and they believe in my ability to do what I say I'm going to do. And I've proven that over and over. They know that if they sell it to Martine, I'm going to close. I'm not going to leave them high and dry. So I get referred business because they know that their people are going to be taken care of. Now, on the flip side, because I use private money to buy my properties, I have all this relational capital because I have really good relationships. These people wouldn't lend me money if they didn't know, like, and trust me. So my whole business is on relationships. The only reason I've been in here for so long is because of relationships. And to even make it even sweeter, when I first started, I knew no one successful in real estate, not a soul. I didn't know anybody that had large chunks of money that they could lend it to me so I could go buy a property.
Right.
And that all came because I built really, really good relationships. My whole business, my whole longevity of being in this is because I built relationships. I focused on it. It was something that was at the top of my list because I knew if I had the right relationships, I could grow to where I wanted to be.
That is amazing. And I would imagine unbelievably challenging. You know, you're new in the business and you're trying to get started and you've got no contacts and you're trying to get people to give you money. Mm-hmm. Walk us through that. How did you get your first deal? Yeah.
So I'd say for the first one I kept, because when I first started, I was wholesaling. So I didn't have to worry about the money piece. I thought, you know, if I didn't have a ton of capital, I had to sell it to somebody else. And you know, you have your regrets, right? Like what I bought these deals for, man, they would be worth so much right now. But anyway, right. you learn along the way. I'm trying to make people avoid that for themselves. You can keep it. But it all started from going to like different meetings. So I had to really start networking heavy. And
just getting face to face with people.
Getting face to face with people. And a lot of people think, well, you know, we all went to this educational seminar. So since we all went, we have a great relationship. No, that's not how great relationships are made. Great relationships are made because you really get to know someone. You really get to understand what they value, what they care about. How can you help them? And then you find the win-win. So I was finding people that had money that they didn't necessarily want to do the work, but they wanted their money to work for them. And they had already seen my ability, but what I was able to accomplish. So they trusted that I would do what I said what I was going to do. And then on top of that, I knew that my reputation was everything. So I wasn't going to tarnish it. I was going to do everything I told this person I was going to do so that they could tell their friend, so they could tell someone else. So then I could get more relational capital. So that's kind of how it started. And then, you know, you kind of get a name for yourself once they're like, wow, you want to make some great returns, go blah, 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 right? So you start getting referrals and stuff. But it all started with really getting to know people, really seeing how you can help, finding those win-win scenarios.
Has that philosophy been the same? I know because the coaching venture is newer, right? Like you maybe, I don't when did you start your coaching business?
I started it 2 years ago.
2 years ago. So is that philosophy of, you know, finding people that you can partner with or build relationships with that can refer you, developing those relationships, establishing trust, has that really been the philosophy for the coaching company as well? Did you kind of take the same process and apply it to that? Yes,
because when I first started, I only knew you have to market, right? You have to send out all of this cold marketing to all these people, and that works. But I found that I enjoy it so much more when I'm doing business with my friend. I have a relationship with you. You're my friend, right? So I know I enjoy doing business that way so much more. So like for the people that I coach, they think, oh, well, you know, Martine can get that because she's been doing this for so long. No, you can get this from the beginning. You just have to position yourself in a way that you can add some value to someone. Nobody wants you to come to them and you're like begging, please help me. If you don't, you know, fund this deal, I'm not going to get it. No, you need to position yourself so that you are going to get this deal, whether you want to do it or not. I only need one yes. Like, and then people will see that you're about your business, right? So when they see that you're about your business, they're like, oh, well, the train is going and I don't want to get left. Like, I want to get in on this. that's kind of like how everything stemmed. But yeah, I just realized doing it the relationship way was so much better. Like I didn't have any competition anymore. I came from a trusted source.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't realize is relationship development to build a business is really a hack because anybody can go run Facebook ads, anybody can go do Google ads, anybody can go buy leads, but to actually develop a real human connection with somebody else that ultimately leads to a business partnership or whatever that might look like, it's a hack, like it's a moat, like it gives you a competitive advantage.
Right.
You know, I recently kind of went off the grid, you know, a couple of years back, and I was encouraged to like go really focus on building the business that I have now. And I decided to do that. I stopped creating content. I stopped everything. I stopped courses. I stopped this thing. I stopped that thing. I stopped 100% of it. And I just focused on one thing. And when I came back and it was time to like really go out there and build relationships, which is recent, like the last 2 to 3 months, I was like, well, I'm going to do podcasting because it's my number one relationship development tool. But I had built a Rolodex of contacts for years doing what you just said, adding value, doing what I said I was going to do, et cetera, et cetera. And then I think I told you before I got on, I think you're my 33rd conversation in 6 weeks. People are like, damn, that's a lot of podcasts. Like,
Right.
yes, it has been a lot of podcasts, but it was like cool to be able to like, I just called 60 of my friends and it's like, hey, can we get on a call? I've got a lot more conversations booked. And, it like, I never would have been able to do that in the beginning. Like when I first got started and all this stuff, almost 15 years ago, it's like I would have never been able to just call 60 people and get them to jump on and talk to me for 30 minutes. It is a true hack. So I'm curious, how do you, because I get the framework, add value to people and do what you say what you're going to do. That's a very simple philosophy. But I'm curious, how do you identify who you want to partner with?
I think the easiest way to do that is to go to meetings where people have common interests. So you're going to go to a meeting, let's say a real estate investor meetup, for instance. Everybody in here is interested in real estate. Like, why would they have come? So what I like to tell my students when they're trying to really develop these relationships is make sure you get at least 3 cards while you're at this meeting. Or if they don't have a card, get their telephone number. And then what people don't do is they don't follow up. They don't call the person until they need something. So we're calling people and we're setting up meetings. Let me take you to lunch. Let me take you to coffee, breakfast or something. And let me see how I can add value to your business. And then like when you are talking to people, right, you start hearing what they really want. And if you're doing a lot of networking, you can connect people. So you can say, oh, well, I really just need a loan officer. Oh, I know a guy. And I'll send them your link that you gave me, right? Yeah. And they'll go on there and they'll get their loan officer or whatever, but you truly just try to add value. And then eventually you'll just run into the people that they do have capital. And then sometimes people don't know that they could lend, like you have to teach them. So like I have one student, for instance, that she already had a really powerful network, but she had never invested in real estate before. So she reached out to all the people that she knew that they had some interest in real estate, but maybe they were too busy. Maybe, they were doing something else. Maybe they just didn't know how to do it. They already trusted her. So they hopped on a Zoom with her and she taught them how they could lend to her. She taught them the different ways that you can lend. Like if you have this, if you have that, if you have this, you could get in on my deals. And this is what it looks like. And then like the icing on the cake for her, because she already had this network. So she was just working the network she already had, but they had never lent her money before. She sent a follow-up survey to see like, well, when are you ready to get started? How much money you got? Like, how much do you want to do? And then people they already know, like, and trust her. The thing is, you have to get people that want to do it, and they have to know, like, and trust you. If they don't know, like, and trust you, they're not going to lend you money. Nobody's just going to say, hey, I got an extra, $500,000. I don't know you, but do you want to do this deal? No. You gotta put in the work. You got to really get to know people, really try to get to help them.
Man, it's so fascinating, really, when you think about all of the different ways that you can add value to somebody. Because, like, I wouldn't think that, like, if I was going to go borrow money to flip a house or buy a property or whatever, I wouldn't think that I could teach the person that was going to lend me money how to do it. And so like, that's interesting. How do you go, like, what's your process for discovering how you can add value to people?
Yeah, I think it's really just, it comes down to listening to what people want. You know, people always start, well, what do you do? Like, I'll give you an example. Today I went to the nail salon, so my nails aren't busted anymore. But I went to the nail salon and I'm just talking to the guy, right? And we're just shooting the breeze. And I said, hey, do you like investing? Like, do you invest in anything? And he was like, no. And I'm like, you own the nail salon. Like, I know you like investing. You own a business. Like, come on. So he was like, no, I'm not really into investing. I was like, really? I was like, because, you know, I invest in rental properties. Like, I'm a real estate investor. And when I told him that, he was like, oh, so, like, he started asking me questions. I've noticed when you bring up real estate, most people are interested. Not everybody, but like 80% of them are interested. And they want to ask you questions and find out more. So he started asking questions to the point where I invited him to join my free group so he could learn how to do it, because I could tell he was very interested. And then once you get people in your circle, like for instance, something that would be good to do, I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but something that would be good to do if I was looking for a lender or looking to find out how I could help people is to reach out to that guy and take him to lunch. We all got to eat. Take him to lunch, find out more about what he wants to do. Like, how did you start owning this business? Is this all that you want to do? Do you have any hopes and dreams? What are your goals? Like, really just try to see what type of lifestyle people want. And then just offer solutions. You can connect people, but just offer solutions. If you know that you can make people double-digit returns on their money, they might be a little interested if they're only making 0.1 at the bank.
Yeah, 100%.
So.
100%. What would you say to the people that are like, yeah, Martine, but that's just not the most scalable way to do it. Like, I want to build a relationship with, or I want to build like a following, and I want people to just give me money because I'm great or something like that. Like, you know, because relationship development is not a super scalable thing, but I find that when business owners are really good at doing the unscalable work, they tend to be more successful than those that don't. So what would you say to that?
Well, one, I don't count anybody's pockets first. So I can make one relationship with someone and they may have millions of dollars to lend me. I don't know. Like, I have to do one deal with them and then they'll see how I work, and then that's when the floodgates open. They're like, man, that was great. I made so much money. I want to do another one. So for people that are like, oh, they don't want to do that, that's fine, but maybe you should go the hard money route. Maybe you should go the institutional route. The only other thing that I can think of is, I mean, you can develop content and create a following and do all of that. And like, that's cool, but I'm doing that now. Like, before, I was just focused on the relationships because that was bringing in the money. Because it's way more important for longevity. You need to have good, valuable relationships with people. There are people that came before me. They've been doing this way longer than me. And they helped me in so many ways. And one thing that they preach is, let's say you're going through a tough spot. A deal didn't go the way you thought it was going to go. You need those relationships because maybe one of your friends can help you out. Maybe they can give you a good idea, not even just the money aspect. They can give you some sort of concept that can help you change things and change the way that they are going so they can go back up. So I just think it's the most important thing in business. Like, having a large following is okay, but no, relationships is number one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, business still happens on the phone or it happens in person. So even if you have a large following, you got to talk to people. Like, you got to go deep with people. You got to develop a relationship, especially if you're asking for their money so that you can do projects. You know, people are not going to buy from people they don't know, like, and trust. They're certainly not going to invest in people they don't know, like, and trust. And I think that's very fascinating. This has been an amazing conversation. I want to respect your time. So I always like to ask this last question before we sign off. How can we, as listeners of the Partner Profit Podcast, how can we partner with you? What's important to you right now? How can we support your growth?
So for me right now, that's a great question. People don't really ask me that. But for me, I am really like heavily focused on helping everyone that is ready to buy their first rental property, to start their wealth journey, despite what circumstances they're in. As you know, my car was repossessed. I own rental properties. You can fix those. You can fix your credit to get it to where it needs to be so that you can own rental property. So I just know a lot of people have a lot of limiting beliefs like, oh, well, I can't do it because I need to have $50,000 in the bank, or I can't do it because my credit isn't where it needs to be. Oh, I can't do it. I don't have time. For anybody that is serious and you're ready, you want to change, I want to invite you all to my free Facebook group. It's called The Freedom Inc. And I just share a lot of resources and tips. And I really invite everybody to join that group is because I want to start developing a relationship with you. I'm all the way about relationships, 100%. So when Grant said he wanted to talk about relationships, I say, you're speaking my language. You are speaking my language. So yeah, I think for me, the fulfillment that I get now is more so in helping more people achieve that goal. I've just, a lot of people that I'm working with now, they've wanted to do this for quite some time. And to see their reactions, how they feel when they close on their first deal, it really warms my heart. And yeah, I still invest too, but that's not as exciting as seeing someone that get their first deal, just to be honest. Like, that's way more exciting.
I love it. We'll make sure that we link up all the ways that people can connect with you and join your Facebook group. And if you're listening to this, I highly encourage you to do it. Martine is very passionate about what she does and has a proven track record too. So Martine, thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. And thank you all for continuing to listen to the Partner Profit Podcast. This has been another amazing conversation. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.